Tommy. How are you? Thank you. Welcome to the live. Thank you so much for joining in the live. Hello, Tommy. And here is my friend Bingo. How are you? Welcome to the live. Thank you so much. What's your name? Drop your name. Hi, who's here in the chat? Drop your name. Welcome to the live. Thank you so much for joining in the live. Hello, who's here? Drop your name. Hello, who's here? Hello. Drop your name. Who's here in the chat? Drop your name. Welcome to the live. Hello, welcome to the live. Who joined the live is who's here in the chat? Let me see. Here is Unit Kumar. Thank you so much for joining in the live. Have a nice day. Next name is Hello Zainab. How are you? Welcome to the live. And next name is Hello Ara. How are you? And next name is Ibu in the chat. Hello Ibu. How are you? And next name is Hello Busra. How are you? Thank you so much for joining in the live. And next name is Amelia. How are you? Thank you so much for joining in the live. Have a nice day. Hello Izoza. How are you? Thank you so much for joining in the live. Have a lovely day. Hello Ahana. How are you? And next name is we have Foria in the chat. Hello Foria. How are you? Welcome to the live. And here is Rick in the chat. Thank you. Welcome to the live. Have a nice day. And who's here? Who's here in the chat? Here is Shahid and Najma in the live. Hello, Shahid and Najma. How are you? Next name is Dhanesh. Welcome to the live. Thank you so much. And here we have Oswook in the chat. Hello, how are you? Next name is Karimul. How are you? Next we have Hardik. Thank you so much for joining in the live. And next we have Dia in the chat. Hello Dia, how are you? And next name is Chris. Welcome to the live. Thank you so much. Money. Hello Kenny, how are you? Next name is Rehab. Jenny Raw in the chat. Hello, how are you? Next name is Rehab. Hello Carly, how are you? Thank you so much for joining the live. Have a nice day. Here we have Book in the chat. Hello Book. Next name is we have Sorry in the chat. Hello Sorry. And here we have Colin in the chat. Hello Colin. How are you? And next we have thank you everyone. Thank you. Here is Mila in the chat. Hello Mila. And next name is Harvey. How are you? Thank you so much. And here we have Jose in the chat. Let me see. Hello Adarsh. How are you? Thank you Adarsh for joining in the live. And here is Mukas in the chat. Hello, how are you? Next name is. Thank you so much for joining the live. Hello, Yonchai, how are you? Welcome to the live. And here is Elizabeth. Thank you so much for joining the live. Me again. Hello. What's up? Now write my name. Okay, I think your name is Ansh. Thank you so much for joining the live. And next name is Hello Falak. How are you? Thank you so much. And next name is Alin in the chat. Hello, it's Alin or Kalin. Thank you, Colin, for joining the live. And here is, and I see. Hisyon, thank you so much for joining in the live. Happy birthday to you. What's your name? And here is Sophie in the chat. Hello, how are you? And next name is Hello Z, how are you? Next we have and Lorena in the chat. Hello, how are you? Next we have Hello Humara, how are you? Thank you so much. And next name is Lana, Nani in the chat. Thank you. Ishant, happy birthday to you. Thank you so much. Happy birthday to you, Ishant. And next name is who's here in the chat. Let me see. And I see Jisoo in the chat. Hello, Jisoo. Next name is Hello, Tina. How are you? Next name is Amel. How are you? Thank you so much. And here I see Amar in the chat. Hello, Amar. Thank you. Thank you, Jisoo, for your compliment. Thank you so much. Thank you, Naila, for joining in the live. And next, Easy in the chat with her. Thank you so much for joining in the live. Have a lovely day. And who's here in the chat? Hello, Sammy. How are you? And next we have, and I see Ryan. How are you? Welcome to the live. Next name is Aditya. Thank you, Aditya, for joining in the live. Have a lovely day. And here is Maria in the chat. Hello, Maria. And I see. You're welcome, you're welcome. And I see here is Paul in the chat. Hello, Paul. Welcome to the live. Josie, please. Thank you so much for joining in the live. And here next name is Murtaza. How are you? And next we have Shifa in the chat. Do you want me to write Pakistan? And here Nabi Visa. How are you? And I see Book in the chat. Hello, Book. How are you? And next, I see Kadim in the chat. Hello, how are you, everyone? Thank you, everyone, for joining the live. Hello, Kiri. And who's here in the chat? Hello, Kabir. How are you? And I see. Here I see. Hello, Arsh. Thank you so much. And here is Suju in the chat. And next name is Ali Moon. Thank you, Ali Moon, for joining in the live. Have a nice day. And we have Tura Plus. Thank you so much for joining in the live. And last we have Hello Heather. Welcome to the live, Heather. And next name is Hello Jackie. Thank you so much for joining in the live. And next we have Muhtasin. Thank you so much for joining in the live. And next we have Yasir. Thank you, Yasir, for joining in the live. Have a nice day. And here is Majma. Thank you so much for joining in the live. And next name is you pin in the chat. And here is next name is Parizoda. How are you? Welcome to the live. And who's here in the chat? Let me see. Next name is Hello Bonnie. How are you? And next name is Alika in the chat. Hello Alika. How are you? And here is Noah in the chat. Thank you, thank you. And I see Hansa Band in the chat. Hello, how are you? Thank you. And I see Jamilia in the chat. Thank you, Jamilia. Welcome to the live. Alfisha. Thank you, Alfisha, for joining in the live. Have a lovely day to you. And Cantal, thank you so much. Next name is Umar. Welcome to the live. Thank you so much. Here is Alice. How are you? Thank you so much for joining in the live. Thank you everyone. Thank you so much. And next name is Cookie. How are you? And next name is Nora. Thank you so much for joining in the live, Nora. Have a great day. And next we have Talini. How are you? Talini, thank you so much for joining in the live. And next we have Lily Mai. Thank you so much for joining in the live. Have a nice day. Thank you, thank you. And next we have Bontley. Thank you, Bontley. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. And next we have Hercule. Thank you so much for joining in the live. Have a nice day. And next name is Carolina. How are you? Thank you so much for joining in the live. And next we have Safina. Thank you, Safina. Thank you so much for joining in the live. And next we have Hello Bisma. How are you? Thank you, Bisma, for joining in the live. And next we have Valeria. How are you? Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. And who's here in the chat? And here I see Mahi. How are you, Mahi? Welcome to the live. Thank you. And next I see Florence. Thank you so much for joining in the live. And next name is we have Mia in the chat. Zizi in the chat. Hello Zizi, how are you? Thank you so much. And we have Kai in the chat. Hello Kai, how are you? And here is Romy, how are you? Welcome to the live. Thank you so much. And I see Saniha in the chat. Hello Saniha, how are you? And next name is Fazilat. Fazilat. Thank you so much, Fazilat. Have a nice day. Thank you so much. And I see here is Camelia in the chat. Hello Camelia, how are you? And next we have Unisa. Thank you so much for joining in the live. Have a nice day. And I see who's here. Hello Yusuf, how are you? Thank you so much. Thank you everyone. Thank you for your love and support. Thank you so much. Next I see here is Hello Taylor. How are you Taylor? Thank you so much for joining in the live. And next name is we have Ayush and Umrah. Thank you so much for joining in the live. And here is Boy in the chat. Hello Boy, how are you? And next I see here is Surya in the chat. Hello Surya, how are you? And I see Alicia in the chat. Hello, how are you? And next I see hello Isa, how are you? Thank you so much. And next name is Shahid in the chat. Hello Shahid. And next name is Toomer. Thank you, Raya, for being in the live. Thank you for your love and support. And I see Umar. How are you, Umar? Thank you so much. Next name is Hello, Mariam. How are you? Thank you so much for joining in the live. And here is Cha in the chat. Hello, Cha. How are you? And here is Usher in the chat. Hello, Usher. How are you? Next, I see here is Jonia in the chat. Hello, Jonia. And next name is Zainab in the chat. Hello, Zainab. How are you? Thank you, Zainab, for joining in the live. Have a nice day. And we have Isra in the chat. Hello, Isra. Thank you. And next name is Riyadh. How are you, Riyadh? Welcome to the live. Thank you so much, Riyadh, for joining the live. And we have Hello Sadaf in the chat. Hello Sadaf, how are you? And next who joined the live is Mallory in the chat. Hello Mallory, how are you? And here Arush in the chat. Welcome to the live, Arush. And next name is Tino in the chat. Hello Tino, how are you? Thank you everyone. Where are you from, guys? Tell me, where are you watching from? And what time is it? Okay, here's Sky in the chat. Hello Sky, how are you? Thank you Sky, thank you so much. And what's his name? I can't pronounce this. Thank you so much for joining in the live. And here is Jarian in the chat. Okay, what's your name? Drop your name. If is your name is Mehboob, I think your name is Mehboob in the chat. And who's here? Thank you for liking and subscribing. Thank you, Molly, for joining in the live. Next name is Alba. How are you? Okay, Alba, thank you so much. I don't know what's happened to my views. I'm very sad. I don't know, receiving too much views. It's only 10 views. 10 people are watching. Lucy in the chat. Drop your name. Hello everyone who's here, who's here. Thank you, thank you. Drop your name. And next name is, here is Jelena in the chat. Hello, how are you? And we have Ayat in the chat. Thank you, Ayat, for joining in the live. Next name is Sana. How are you? And next name is Laura in the chat. Hello, Laura. And next name is Hi, Glow. How are you? And next name is Masha in the chat. Hello, Masha. How are you? Next name is Hero in the chat. And here is hello, MJ. How are you? Thank you, MJ, for joining the live. And next name is Mariam. How are you? Thank you, Mariam, for joining the live. And next name is Alice in the chat. And next name is Wrinkle. How are you? And next name is also in the chat. Hello, also. How are you? And here is Charlotte in the chat. Hello, how are you? Okay, here is Emily. How are you? Thank you so much, Emily, for joining in the live. Thank you, Miran. How are you? And I see John. Dear, thank you so much for joining in the live. Please like the live. Hyunjin, I did not know what is tricky. I don't know about that. I only know about BTS, no other than. I don't know K-pop, Blackpink, and Stray Kids. I just know BTS. Hello Manon, how are you? Thank you Manon for joining in the live. Okay, I will try to watch. Check it. I don't know what about that. What is it? Thank you Momina for joining the live. Have a lovely day. Okay, I will try to watch Stray Kids. Thank you for joining the live and thank you for your asking. Thank you so much. Hi Yuji, but and your ID name is Isa Faisal. My name is Nida and I'm from Pakistan. The next name is Iman in the chat. Hello Iman, how are you? Thank you so much. Next name is Alicia in the chat. Okay, here is Alicia in the chat. Hello Alicia. And next name is Leona. Thank you Leona. Have a nice day. Thank you so much for joining in the live. And next name is Alex. I'm from Pakistan. Thank you so much for asking. And here is Hello Hafsa. How are you? Thank you Hafsa. Hit the 50 likes guys. Hit the 50 likes. And I see Hello Asif. How are you? Thank you so much for joining in the live. And I see Babu in the chat. Hello Babu. And next I see Kranti in the chat. Hello, how are you? And here I see Sarah in the chat. Hello, how are you? Thank you so much for joining in the live. Hello Sabine, how are you? Zoe. I wrote your name. Okay, once again, Zoe. And next I see Varida in the chat. Hello, how are you? And next name is Rui. How are you? Thank you so much for joining in the live. Hello, Horan. How are you? Hello, Catherine. Thank you so much for joining in the live. Okay, next name is Mustafa in the chat. And next name is Hello, Alita. How are you? I'm doing good. Thank you so much, Catherine. Thank you for asking. Thank you so much. And here is No Boy in the chat. Hello, how are you? And next name is Zoya Suha. Thank you so much for joining in the live. And next name is Iman. How are you? Thank you for your compliment. Thank you so much. What's your name? And here is Hello Ramsha. How are you? And next name is Abigail. How are you? Thank you, Abigail, for joining in the live. And I see Hana in the chat. Thank you for your compliment. Now, what's your name? Drop your name. Hello, Ali. How are you? Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Jasmine, thank you so much for joining in the live. And thank you, Amas. How are you? Welcome to the live. Thank you, Diane. Thank you so much for joining in the live. Have a lovely day, everyone. I hope you guys are doing fine. How was your day? And I see here is Ishan join the live. Hello, Ishan. How are you? And next, Megan in join the live. Thank you so much. And hello, who's here? Drop your name. Hello, Ritaj. How are you? And next name is Hello, Sani. How are you? Thank you so much for joining in the live. And here is Bushchan Bill. Thank you so much for joining in the live. And here is Ali in the chat. Thank you, Ali. Okay, everyone, I'm taking last 5 minutes, then I will end the live. Hello, mommy. How are you? Thank you, mommy, for joining in the live. And next name is, here is Navya in the chat. Hello, Navya. How are you? And next I see Sam in the chat. Hello, Sam. And here is Buzu in the chat. Okay, the next name is, and I see here is Lakshmi in the chat. Thank you so much for joining in the live. And I see Mohitik in the chat. Hello, how are you? And I see, hello, Isha. How are you? And I see Vishnavi in the chat. Hello, how are you? And I see here is Umesh in the chat. Hello, how are you? And I see Harim in the chat. Hello, Harim. How are you? And I see Camelia in the chat. Hello, how are you? And I see Asmini in the chat. Hello, Asmini. Okay, next name is Sam in the chat. And next name is Lil in the chat. Hello, Lil. How are you? Thank you, Sarita, for joining in the live. Have a nice day. And here we see Kona in the chat. Hello, Kona. Hello Anika, how are you? And next we have Presley in the chat. Hello, how are you? Thank you, Presley. I wrote your name. Mohidin in the chat. Hello, how are you? Okay, everyone, thanks for watching. Okay, Leon, thank you, Leon, for joining in the live. Thank you, Abigail, for your love and support. Thank you so much. Have a nice, lovely day. Thank you so much. Okay, everyone, thanks for watching. See you in the next live tomorrow in the morning. Have a nice day, everyone. Bye. And good night. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone. Bye. Okay, the last name, your sister name, Melissa. Okay, Melissa. Thank you, everyone. Bye.